Hey, it's New Thought Talk. I'm your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in Fresno, California. If you happen to have an opportunity to join us on Sunday, we meet from 10:30 to noon, and we can be found at 1470 North Van Ness Street at the Fresno Soap Company. I'd like to see you there. So last time that we had our show, we were talking about what our individual concepts of the divine principle, or that which we call God, is, and how when we have an understanding, a personal understanding of what that is, how it affects the reality and what we experience as life. I'm going to pick up on that just a little bit today before I move forward into what I want to cover. Today what I'm covering is something called Thanksgiving and gratitude. It's the right time of the year for it, but in approaching the idea of Thanksgiving and gratitude, if we have an understanding that the divine principle, universal intelligence, is some kind of a being, it takes and it creates a separation between us and it, and us and him, however you want to understand that. But there can't be any separation because God is everywhere present, and therefore, however you want to understand it, somehow, some way, we are an expression of the divine principle. Taking that into consideration, this idea of Thanksgiving, idea of having an attitude of gratitude, and how it plays out in a creative format in our life becomes very important to those that are on a spiritual path, for those that are looking to be self-realized and to have a role, a personal role, in how they experience life. Because with God being everywhere present at all points in time, there's no time, no place where God is not there. So what we experience is the good times. It's real easy to say, yeah, God was there in that moment. But when we're experiencing challenges in our life, when we are experiencing things that life may bring to us that are not of an order that we would even want to deal with, and yet life has presented it to us, we have to realize that God is there also, because God is everywhere present. We understand that God is there, everywhere present, there in that moment in time, there in our, what we may consider our darkest hour. There's still a light for us there, and there's still good to be found. And when we shift our consciousness, our understanding, and our relationship to life, and thus our relationship to God, to a consciousness of gratitude and thanksgiving, then we begin to be in charge of how we experience things. And it's an amazing thing that once we're in charge of how we experience things, and those things that we experience seem to just improve. They get better and better. It's not a quick fix type of thing. It's a process. It's a journey, and we have to walk that journey or participate in that journey on an ongoing basis. You know, the idea, the concept of the science of mind, of New Thought, is it is a philosophy, and it is a faith, but it is a way of life also. And if you don't participate, then you're not going to see it play out in your individual life. And the point is to have it play out in your life. You know, when Jesus was teaching, you know, one of the things that he taught was this idea of thanksgiving. And he says, oh, got the wrong page here. Let's go to this page over here. He says, therefore, I say to you, whatsoever you ask for when you pray, believe that you have received them, and you will have. In all things give thanksgiving. He says, when we pray believing, when we believe, our prayers will be answered. How do we pray believing? Well, Ernest Holmes called it a prayer of faith. And he said, there's no class of people on earth that believes more in a prayer than we do. And he's speaking of New Thought, religious science people. He says our whole theory is based not only in the belief in spirit or God, but in the availability of it being God or spirit. Its immediate response to our prayers when we pray. We can even go so far as to say that in everyday language, pray right and God cannot help but responding. What does he mean when he says pray right? I mean, is there a right way? Does that mean that there is a wrong way to pray? And we don't believe in a wrong way of prayer, but there is a more correct way to pray that will demonstrate to a greater extent in your life. And in Science of Mind, as we talk about this concept of prayer, there's a process that we go through. But one of the significant and possibly, well, they're all significant, but one of the most significant parts of that prayer process is the step that we call the step of thanksgiving, giving thanks. Giving thanks for. Giving thanks for what it is that we have prayed for God to express in our life. How do we give thanks for something if we don't have it? How do we give thanks for health when we're sick? How do we give thanks for financial abundance when there's more bills than there is income? How do we give thanks for our relationships when our relationship has just blown up in our face? And we can do it. But we have to learn how to do it. It has to become part of who and what we are. Because we can give thanks for all those things. Going back to our understanding of what God is, if God is everywhere present, and God is the source and the supply of all the good, meaning everything that we experience in our life, we can give thanks, like a pre-thanks, if you will, for that coming to pass which we are praying for. But in doing so, what we're really doing is recognizing that the demonstration has already been made. We give thanks for health because in truth, we are all whole, perfect, and complete. We may not demonstrate that in the physical plane, but spiritually, as we were created, we're whole, perfect, and complete. There's enough abundance in the world that every person can live a life of abundance. And yet we see a lot of poverty and limitation in the world. We do because people believe in poverty and limitation. They believe that there's not enough. They believe in a God that will turn a blind eye to an individual who falls short of the glory, so to speak. But there is no God that does that, because that kind of God is a God of what we call anthropomorphism. That's a God that was created in the image of human beings versus us being created in the image of the divine. Talking about the image of the divine is not the physical image that we present to the world, but the truth of who we are, the spiritual beingness of us. You know, Jesus said that God is spirit, and we must worship God in spirit, as spirit. There's no physicalness to God in the sense that God is some body or something that has a physicalness. But there's an infiniteness in God, an everywhere presence, and all power, and all knowing, and all wisdom. Our understanding of that is how we see God play out in our life, and that's what I talked about previously. So understanding that God is everywhere present, understanding that every breath that we take is a gift of life expressing through us. Shifting our consciousness to the idea of an understanding of gratitude and thanksgiving changes our whole consciousness and how we demonstrate our moment-to-moment, day-to-day life experience. When things come at us that are tough, we realize that we have a bigger God. And we give thanks for the understanding that we have a bigger God and that we have a resource in God, that there is a light that shines in the darkness. And even in the greatest amount of darkness, a single candle cannot be extinguished. One single little flame. And yet we've got an infinite flame that exists within each and every one of us. It is a source and a resource that we can go to when we know we can go to it. And that is our spiritual journey. That is why we're here, is to learn the truth of who we are. And in learning, we express more of what God has created within us in this physical life expression. And that's a lot to give thanks for. So I'm looking at the clock. I think we're getting close to our first commercial break. So we'll take a break, and we'll pick it up when we come back. This Thanksgiving stuff, it's the time of year, and how important is it? Boy, it's very important. So I'll see you when we come back.
Whether you're looking for a place to rent or you have a property you would like to rent out, call the experts at Real Property Management Platinum at 559-324-9400 and visit rpmfresno.com. Beverly Patterson is your independent SeneGence distributor. If you're looking for lipstick that won't budge for up to 18 hours or any other long-lasting beauty supplies, contact Beverly at 559-360-7709 or visit senegence.com/Beverly. Are you tired of being turned down because of your credit? Recovery Credit Repair can help you permanently remove your negative credit and improve your FICO score. Call 559-372-2823 or visit recoverycreditrepair.com. Trying to sell a home or property? Call real estate agent Melanie Littlefield. Melanie produces buyers, not expired listings. And if you're looking to buy a home, Melanie is the agent for you. Contact real estate agent Melanie Littlefield at 559-719-7250 or email melaniec21av@aol.com. The Saga of Bridget and Amanda by Carol Love Forbes brings to life the struggles of historical women in early America. Find The Saga of Bridget and Amanda on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and order your copy today. Are you having financial troubles and are considering your options? Before filing for bankruptcy, call Katerina Benitez at Benitez Law Firm, PC, 559-472-7337. Come learn how to be a better author at the Christian Writers Seminar at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church on Saturday, February 10th, 2018. Fresno Rescue Missions Rescue the Children program is a protected, secure environment providing emergency and long-term services to women at risk, abused, homeless, previously incarcerated, and women with children. The community provides women and their children a place to get away from destructive lifestyles, offering a place to heal, learn, and grow. Give to the Fresno Rescue Mission today.
Gained a lot, learned a lot, and got a lot of love. If it weren't for the knowledge that I had gained from the classes at PCC, I probably wouldn't be the mom I am today. See, there it goes.
I would love you to meet my son, Aaron. My situation was very difficult. I didn't know how my life was going to turn out.
We graduated in June 2010 and we got married in July. And through family, the Pregnancy Care Center changed our lives.
The Pregnancy Care Center was a huge, vital part in helping me walk through that pregnancy, in educating me and loving on me during that time.
Do you or a loved one have memory problems or mild Alzheimer's disease? Then you may be interested in the Daybreak ALZ Clinical Research Study. The Daybreak ALZ study is a clinical research study for people with memory problems or mild Alzheimer's disease. The study will examine an oral investigational drug that may have some effect on the brain changes associated with Alzheimer's disease. The study is designed to find out whether this investigational drug or study drug can slow down the decline in memory and mental functioning. If you're interested in participating
pain in the study, contact Neuropain Medical Center at research@neuropain.com or call 559-437-9700, extension 310.
For all your real estate needs, call Julia Tadich with Clovis First, 559-323-2213, or visit clovisfirst.com. That's CLOVIS, numeral 1, ST.com. Whether you're looking to buy a home or sell a home, get a loan, or whatever the case may be, call Julia Tadich.
Hardworking, experienced, and capable. With a record of success over more than 2 decades, the law office of Kevin G. Little is one of the preeminent small firms in Fresno. We represent our clients in a variety of matters, including civil rights, employment, personal injury, general civil litigation, family law, bankruptcy, and criminal cases. Our firm also offers excellent mediation services in civil and family law matters. We approach each case with dedication, aiming to protect you and exceed your expectations. Contact us today at 559-342-5800 and visit kevinglittle.com. Emil Sanders of Chic Romance Travel is your certified destination wedding and romance travel specialist. With Chic Romance Travel, you'll save time, be less stressed, and have a unique, unforgettable travel experience. You deserve this. Call Chic Romance Travel at 1-800-432-1752 or visit chicromancetravel.com.
Visit Princess and the Pauper, where you'll find everything from new and consigned furniture, lighting and art, a line of candles, French soaps, and mineral paint. Whether your style is old world, modern, or a little bit of everything, you'll find it at Princess and the Pauper, located at the southeast corner of Bullard and West. And now you can visit Princess and the Pauper's online store at princessandthepauper.net.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back. It's New Thought Talk. I am your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in Fresno, California. I'm glad you're back, and we're talking about Thanksgiving today. Powerful. It's a powerful concept. It's something we don't give a lot of thought to. You know, we think about interacting with people, and somebody does something for us or gives something to us, and of course I hope that we all say thank you. And if we run across someone that doesn't, it feels a little uncomfortable sometimes, doesn't it? It's because Thanksgiving is part of the fabric of our beingness. And so what I was looking for earlier, and I had to go back and find it, says here, and it says, "Rejoice always and pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God." Pray without ceasing, and in everything give thanks. And the idea of prayer and thanksgiving, or prayer and thanks being combined in the same thought, is not it's not that far out, because the prayer of thanksgiving, if we were to say just one single prayer, that would be the prayer. And that was brought to us by a 13th century mystic by the name of Meister Eckhart. He was a monk, and he says, if the only prayer we ever say in our lives is thank you, that will be enough. If the only prayer. And yet, don't we clutter our prayer life with all sorts of pleas and needs and so on and so forth? But if you understand that living in a consciousness of gratitude, a consciousness of thanksgiving, life begins to shift around us. But you see, the thing is that in our moving into a consciousness of thanksgiving, it's not just us being thankful in mind. It's us being thankful in consciousness, and there's a universal law of mind action that responds. And as we hold a consciousness of gratitude, the divine presence, if you will, the law will respond and give us more to be thankful for. And what part of what day is it that we don't have? What part of what day is it that we just don't have the the need to be thankful for. Even in the darkest hours, like I was saying in the last segment, the divine principle, God is always with us. And, for all the stuff that we've experienced in our life, and I'm sure that as you watch this, you can think back to many horrendous things that you've either lived through or seen people live through. And the emphasis there is on the live through. They're still here. And we can experience loss, and sometimes loss can be tragic, and it can hold within our memories things that maybe tend to make us sad. But we're still here. We're here, we're moving forward, and in the process of being here and moving forward, we have the ability to create and make a better life for ourselves, a better life for the people around us, and a better life for the world in general. I spoke in the last segment about the idea of prayer of faith and what Ernest Holmes was saying about prayer, but I want to move this forward. He says, faith is the power of prayer. Now, what is faith? When you analyze faith, you find that it is a mental attitude against which there is no longer any contradiction in the mind that entertains it. Faith is the power of prayer, and when we say our prayer, and it's a prayer of thanksgiving with faith in that prayer, the faith is the power that moves the prayer. In other words, as we seek to demonstrate in our lives a greater good, when we start with a moment of thanksgiving, when we start with a recognition of an understanding of this divine principle that's everywhere present, that responds to us when we think, when we start with this idea that the faith that we hold is what moves it forward, and it does. And it will move it forward for you or anybody else when you come to it in faith. God knows us only at the level that we know ourselves, and the level we know ourselves is our connectedness with the divine principle. In other words, if I only know myself as being a separateness from the rest of the world, then I'm pretty much on my own devices, and I better hope that I'm smarter than the average situation that's going to arise in my life. But if I know myself to be an expression of the divine principle, expressing as me in this life experience, then I also know that no matter what life brings at me, there is a bigger divine principle. There's a bigger God than any situation that I may be facing. And when I begin to understand that, when I begin to embody that as an idea, I can begin to see it demonstrated in my life. And that's the point I want to share today when I'm talking Thanksgiving. When I share this concept of Thanksgiving, it's about having an attitude of gratitude, which is, if you want to call it the law of action or mind action, or if you want to call it the law of attraction, it doesn't make any difference. The law responds. God responds. And when we have and we live in a consciousness of gratitude, we have more to be grateful for. And even as we are evolving, and even as we're moving forward, being grateful for that which we have. And I want to stop and pause here, because when I say being grateful for that which we have, I'm not talking just about the physical things that we have in our life. Some people think that when we talk about an attitude of gratitude, we're talking about how much money do I have in my bank account, or how many relationships have I had, or am I having, or how strong is my relationship. Being in an attitude of gratitude is being grateful for every moment that we exist in this physical plane. Every moment. Even the ones that are a little tough. Being grateful for the breath we take, the beat of our hearts. Being grateful for the obstacles that life brings to us, that teaches us lessons that we learn to overcome as we move forward to an ever greater and more expansive, more whole and complete life experience. Being grateful for the understanding that we were created to live life in health, in harmony, in wholeness, in abundance, in prosperity, that there's nothing that we can think of in our consciousness as a desire, that if it harms no one, and it creates a completion within ourselves, a harmony within ourselves, that the divine principle is always there. It's like Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman from the Christ Universal Temple. She's no longer with us, but she used to say that the desire comes fully clothed. What that means is that when you have a desire, that God's Spirit not only gives you the desire, but provides for you everything that you need to reach that desire. Now, we get caught up with the idea, well, okay, I got the desire, so where's my package, my box of goodies that I need to make that desire come to fruition? And it doesn't work like that. What it comes to us in the way of desire also comes to us in the way of ideas and thoughts, and yes, maybe some conditions, maybe some effects, but it's mainly the ideas. The ideas that come to us are divine principle playing out in our life. Things that we have never thought of, coming across people that we would have never thought to necessarily make contact with, and yet there they are, and there is a connection at that point that moves us ever closer to the demonstration of the desire in our life. Realizing, if we're talking about the consciousness of health, that there's that within the physical body that responds to the consciousness of mind. We say that there's an innate intelligence in the body that once that we bring it in as a co-team player, if you will, the body will take over and heal itself in amazing ways. No matter what science or life has taught us about the conditions, we can also find people that have overcome those conditions. They've experienced a greater good, a greater possibility, a greater demonstration, manifestation in their life of greater physicalness. I can't say particularly specifically how that plays out, but I can tell you that it does play out for each and every one of us. But it plays out for us only at the level that we know it. So going back to what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, knowing God, how we know God. We know God as principle. Do we know God as everywhere present? Do we know God as the infiniteness? And then are we willing to put ourselves in a consciousness of gratitude? Gratitude for life itself, a gratitude for everything that we need, want, and desire being available to us, and knowing that, and in that knowing that we can see it unfold and have an expectation of a greater good. So that when we're told to pray without ceasing and always in all things be thankful, this is what the master teacher was talking about, that we pray without ceasing is keeping in consciousness an attitude of gratitude, an attitude of thanksgiving. This time of the year in this particular country, we take a single day and we call it Thanksgiving, and families come together and we give thanks for the good that we've experienced. But an attitude of gratitude is so much more important in our life to have and to embody in our moment-to-moment, day-to-day life experience. And as we do the days that we experience as Thanksgiving is not a single day out of the year, but it's each and every day of our life. We wake up with a consciousness of Thanksgiving in the morning. We move through a consciousness of gratitude throughout the day, and the divine principle responds and more good comes to us. It's almost magical. It really is. Only there is no magic in the world. There's just God doing what God does. Now, we can feel that as a way of magic. We can experience as a way of magic. But in truth, it is the divine principle that plays out. Most men who believe in God believe in prayer. But our idea of prayer changes as our idea of God changes. And it is natural for each of us to feel that his way of praying is the correct way. But we should bear in mind that prayers which are effective, no matter whose prayer they may be and are effective because they embody certain universal principles which, when understood, can be consciously used. And the first principle of that is the principle of thanksgiving. When we pray in a state of gratitude, when we pray in a state of thanksgiving, the effectiveness of that which we are praying for, the ability to see that demonstration in our life is there. It cannot be denied, because the power that is universally present, that is infinite power and infinite supply, responds, and it always responds. And so when we come to prayer in faith, we come to prayer in a consciousness of gratitude, that this law responds. See, there is something that we need to understand, and that is that there is a limit of our ability. The limit of our ability to demonstrate depends upon our ability to provide a mental equivalent of our desire. For the law of correspondence works from the belief to the thing. The limit of our ability to provide a mental equivalent is limited by our ability to give thanksgiving for what we're praying for. What does that mean? It means that when we are praying, we don't pray for a future event. We pray for a reality as it already being so. And the ability for us to understand that that reality is already so is demonstrated in the mental equivalent that we hold in our mind. We hold this mental equivalent. There's a law that responds. God's desire for us is to be whole, perfect, and complete. God's desire for us is to express our lives fully to the maximum level that we are capable of doing. And God has given us, Spirit has given us all the access to all that we need in this doing this. But we have to know that we have access, and then we have to do the things that allow this access to come forth, to demonstrate, and to manifest in our life. So we're going to take our next break, and we'll pick this up when we come back. I'll see you then.
Bring the gym to your home at Athlete Fitness Equipment, located in the Villaggio Shopping Center across from River Park. 0% financing available with approved credit. Visit athletefe.com and call 369-2800. Shula Davis is your farmer's insurance agent, and she'll help you find the insurance plan that's right for you. Call 559-900-2744 or email sdavis5@farmersagent.com. When you need a realtor, call Alice Brown Harris with Guarantee Real Estate. Call 626-893-7663. To book Zach Krikorian, email zackyboy@mindspring.com or call 559-348-8080. You can also friend request Zach Krikorian at facebook.com/Zach.Krikorian.
We've been thinking about this for a while on how we can really match up economic development and workforce development.
In order to have successful businesses, the businesses needed a successful workforce. And so the EDC and the DSS partnered together to put together training programs that are tailored to specific industries.
We need to have our clients be private sector focused, private sector ready, and better to learn that from the private sector than from the government.
This was a different idea, and this intrigued me. I've got 3 guys out in the field working, no problem at all with them, very good kids. I enjoy hiring people that need a second chance. The employees that work for us are our most important asset. That's why I have to have good employees. We need to all work together and try to figure out on how to do this, and that's why I like the program.
Call Portia Luttrell at 909-3198 to see this beautiful home at 2301 East Michelle Avenue in Fowler, California. 2,898 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. Connect with Dr. Alan Hedberg. Watch Dr. Teach Me to Parent on CentralValleyTalk.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Listen to The Psychology Report anytime at thepsychologyreport.buzzsprout.com. Visit booksbyhedberg.com and order a book for your personal growth. And join the conversation on twitter.com/Alan G. Hedberg. When you need a dentist who has a passion for superior aesthetics and comfort, you need Dr. Christopher Wong with Cedar North Dental. Call 559-432-4948 or visit cedarnorthdental.com. Call Portia Luttrell at 909-3198 for this fabulous 2,561 square foot home in Clovis Unified School District near Woodward Park and River Park. Choose your phone, not your carrier, with Wireless Connection Merced, located at 3144 G Street, Suite 145 in Merced, California. Wireless Connection sells new and used phones, offers cell phone repair, and will unlock phones from any carrier. Call 209-626-5554 or visit wirelessconnectionmerced.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back. It's New Thought Talk. I'm your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in Fresno, California. Hope to see you there some Sunday if you happen to be local. Anyway, we're talking about Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving and the attitude of gratitude and how interconnected it is with this concept of prayer. I want to start this segment with another quote from the Science of Mind book. And it says, "We need a spiritual experience, a first-hand knowledge of life and reality. There's no medium between God and man, and nothing between life and living, between heaven and hell, but an idea. But an idea has no real value until it becomes an experience." We need to have our spiritual experience. You know, as I said earlier, and you may have heard many times, that Jesus said that God is spirit and must be worshipped in spirit, come to in spirit, recognized in spirit. And God is not a physical beingness. Our desire that's within each and every one of us is to experience the divine. Even those people that don't necessarily believe in a divine presence, they still have something they believe in. And for them, that actually becomes, they may deny this, but that actually becomes their understanding of the divine principles of the universe. So, whether you call it the laws of nature or whether you call it God, it makes no difference. Whether you call it self-confidence or whether you call it the Christ within, it still makes no difference. We believe, and we all believe. It's part of human nature. The level of faith that we bring to our belief will determine the level of demonstration of that belief in our life. As you believe, it's done unto you. That's what the master teacher said. What does he mean by that? Well, he means that beliefs are the fundamental building blocks of our inner relationship with our individual reality experience. So we want to have a spiritual experience so that we can make that spiritual connection. How do we have that spiritual experience? Well, we've talked about going into the silence, we've talked about meditation, we've talked about affirmations, but all of this really it kind of all comes back to this concept of thanksgiving and gratitude. Because when we start there, a grateful heart is an open heart. A grateful heart is a non-judgmental heart. A grateful heart is what attracts more to us in our life experience. And what we attract to us is, at some level, God expressing in our life experience. See, this is something that we need to know, and it's one way to help ensure that we have enough in our life experience, enough good, is to give thanks for what we already have. And as I said, I think it was the last segment, that giving thanks for what we already have is not just giving thanks for the physical things in our life, it's giving thanks for the life itself, the energy, the breath we take, the thoughts that we think, the understandings we have, even the beliefs that we hold, the whole universality of all that we are, and giving thanks for that. Even if we're at a point right in our life where it seems like we're really suffering on some level, that we're under the cloud, we're in the darkness. When we turn to the divine principle, when we turn to God, and we turn to God within ourselves, we realize that light is there. And our individual thanksgiving, our individual gratitude, feeds that light and creates it at an ever brighter level within ourselves. And as it grows brighter within us, it takes the darkness and dissipates it. Darkness is not a thing of itself. It's just an absence of light. When we're experiencing darkness in our life, we bring light to it and the darkness is gone. And we can all do that. And the way that we do that, again, it starts with this idea of thanksgiving and gratitude. In all things, be thankful. I think about this sometimes, and it just amazes me. We teach our children we teach them to say thank you. But do we really teach our children to be in an attitude of gratitude throughout their day and all they do? Think about that if you're a parent or even if you're a grandparent. Now, I want to read this to you. It says, if the only prayer that we ever say is thank you, and while we try to say thank you each and every day, and regularly remind ourselves and others to do the same, when we really begin to do that, we can begin to think that this is something that's rather hard. How can I say thank you through gritted teeth? When we first come to this idea, it takes effort. I'm not making light of that. To develop an attitude of gratitude for most people, even most people that believe that they're very spiritually connected. To develop an attitude of gratitude may be a little bit difficult, may be hard, because it means that when we see what is around us, when we see the things in the world that we find appalling or in opposition to our personal beliefs or even chaotic and devastating, to understand that we still hold an attitude of gratitude. The idea of being thankful in chaos is what brings us to the calm center within the storm itself. It's not going to change the storm. It's not going to change the effects initially, but it will change how we interact with it. It will change how we understand it. But it changes something else too. The idea that God is everywhere present, that there is one mind, and this goes back to our understanding of God, means that we're all connected. We're all connected in mind. We're all connected. There's a unity, a oneness is what we like to say. And there is a overlay, if you will, of consciousness, of thought that is the human family as it thinks. And it's been referred to as race consciousness or collective consciousness, many different names given to it, but it's an idea of kind of like consciousness energy that is pervasive around wherever we're at. And there is a family level of collective consciousness. There is a community level of collective consciousness. There's a city, a state, national, and so on, and a general humanity-wide understanding or level of this race consciousness. It's been permeated with fear thoughts. It's been permeated with limitation thoughts. So when we come into the world, when we're dealing with things, there is a bias within us to begin with, to go to fear, to go to worry, to go to anger and judgment, and the things that we would call negative or possibly even evil. And in truth, there is no evil in the world. There's only our understanding of what's going on from a judgmental point of view. If it's all God, we may not understand it, but it's still all God. It can make life tough if we see ourselves as separate from it. So we make a choice to be grateful in all things, to give thanks in all things. What happens is, as we do this choice that we make begins to create change, and it creates change within us. And when we see things from a level of thanksgiving and gratitude, whether you want to call it the law of mind action or whether you want to call it the law of attraction, like I said earlier, things change in our life. But not only do things change in our life, but how we interact with those things, the positive things in our life. It builds within us a greater consciousness of gratitude. And as we have a greater consciousness of gratitude, we experience a greater good in our life experience. But it's not individual to us. It's something that moves from us to those that are surrounding us. One of the things that I tell people oftentimes is you have to understand, if you want to change the world, you've got to start with changing yourself. Because the world you experience is first experienced within you. So you've got to change that inner you. The question that always comes up, well, what's the first thing I got to do? And the first thing we got to do is we got to begin to be grateful for what we have, what we are, what we experience. Bring this idea, this consciousness of gratitude into our life experience, and then see it expressed out into our surroundingness. When we teach a child to say thank you, if we can go the next step and teach them to be in an attitude of gratitude, when they experience gratitude being shared with them, you can see their whole countenance light up. I heard a minister say one time, you know, if I open the door for you and you walk through, you better say thank you, because there is an exchange of gratitude that takes place. It's almost like an energy. And if you don't think to say thank you, the next time he said, I may not open the door for you. If he doesn't at that point, you both lose. And he recognizes that. And he shares that and he teaches that. When someone does something for you, it's not enough to just say thank you. We need to have an attitude of gratitude. That attitude is that energy shared. And see, thanksgivingness, gratitude, on some level, some aspect, is a part of a greater energy that we call love. And that energy that we call love is the energy of the divine principle that we call God. And God is love. God is that spiritualness that we all want to experience, like I said earlier. And it can start with each of us every day with the idea of living in the moment in a consciousness of gratitude. We're coming on our last, looks like our time out for our last segment. So we're going to go to our commercial break and then we'll finish up. I'll see you when we come back.
This segment is brought to you by Mike Briggs Properties. The recession's over. It's now safe to sell your home. Call Mike Briggs Properties.
We've been thinking about this for a while on how we can really match up economic development and workforce development.
In order to have successful businesses, the businesses needed a successful workforce. And so the EDC and the DSS partnered together to put together training programs that are tailored to specific industries.
We need to have our clients be private sector focused, private sector ready, and better to learn that from the private sector than from the government.
This was a different idea, and this intrigued me. I've got 3 guys out in the field working, no problem at all with them, very good kids. I enjoy hiring people that need a second chance. The employees that work for us are our most important asset. That's why I have to have good employees. We need to all work together and try to figure out on how to do this, and that's why I like the program.
I'm Greg Steen, your host for the Truth for Seniors show. Glad you're joining us today and coming to you from Central Valley Talk in the heart of Fresno. So every Wednesday at 2 you can find us, and we'll be here giving you the most up-to-date and accurate information possible, bringing you experts, as we promised, from lots of different fields related to seniors, senior needs, the caregiver needs, and everything that goes with that. So if you're looking for the right information and timely information, this is the place to be.
Choose your phone, not your carrier, with Wireless Connection Merced, located at 3144 G Street, Suite 145 in Merced, California. Wireless Connection sells new and used phones, offers cell phone repair, and will unlock phones from any carrier. Call 209-626-5554 or visit wirelessconnectionmerced.com.
Here at Central Valley Talk, we've chosen Select Business Systems to provide for our copy, print, and scanning needs. We used to think it was cheaper to purchase our own toner and maintain our own office equipment. But now, with the expertise and experience of Select Business Systems, our office workflow is running at peak performance, saving our company time and money. They've truly set us up with our new Sharp multifunction copier, streamlining our office with the press of a button. To find out how you can improve your office technology, call Select Business Systems at 446-0123 or visit their website at selectsharp.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com
Welcome back to New Thought Talk. I am your host, the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in Fresno, California. We're talking about Thanksgiving today, and I want to read some more to you here. It says, and while Thanksgiving is wonderfully simple, it is or can be incredibly challenging. Because the moment we take Thanksgiving seriously and allow gratitude to push its way deeper into our lives, we run the risk of realizing that gratitude and thankfulness is about more than being thankful for things, no matter how wonderful and how special those things are. Because in that moment, the next question becomes, are we thankful because we have and have so much of relative to what others have? If that is the case, where does that leave those whom God names as our neighbors or ourselves who have less? It's not about having. It's about an attitude of gratitude. As we develop that attitude of gratitude within ourselves, like I say, there's more good that comes to us, and that is true. But we're also able to do more good for other people. There was a fellow that used to teach New Thought, and he said, you know, being poor does not allow you to have the abundance to share with others in need. And that's a thought that, you know, when I first heard it, I thought, well, it makes sense. Let's follow that thought just a little bit farther. Being poor, being in lack, is a state of consciousness. When we develop a state of consciousness that is a state of gratitude, and more comes to us, then we're able to share the more that we have. And amazingly, nothing has to change in our life as far as what our physical possessions are. Our ability to share comes from within. Maybe you don't have financial wherewithal to share with people, but you have time, or you have thoughts, or you have a creative idea. Only with an attitude of gratitude are you in a consciousness of abundance, where the realization that the good that you have is an abundance that you can already share. So it's not about what we have in a physical sense. It's about what we have in a universality. I talked about thankfulness today. It's the time of year. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. I hope that what I shared with you today, and it was kind of rushed. I had a few things going, so I didn't get it out exactly in the format that I wanted. But I hope what I shared with you today made an impact. You know, it doesn't make any difference what you believe personally as far as your understanding of the divine, whether you call it God or whether you call it the law of nature. Having a consciousness of gratitude will change your life. Having an attitude of gratitude will allow you to experience a greater good and a greater abundance in your life. And you can still continue to believe and do the things that you've always done. However, I would have to add that if you begin to implement this in your life, you'll see your life change. It cannot not change. These are lessons that we teach in Science of Mind. We teach it. I teach it at the Spiritual Awareness Center here in Fresno. They teach it at other Science of Mind spiritual centers for spiritual living. It can be found throughout the nation and even throughout the world. If you've developed an interest in what I said today, I look forward to possibly seeing you at our church here, our center here in Fresno, or hearing from you that you found a place near you somewhere where you were able to go. Because the journey that we are on is not a journey that comes to us with a manual that we follow. The journey is our journey of discovery, and things come into our lives so that we can discover more about ourselves. The idea of what we call New Thought as a spiritual philosophy or a way of life is not an idea of a hard dogmatic belief that imprisons you to one set of understanding that excludes everything else. It is an understanding that there are principles that we can put into practice in our life, regardless of what our beliefs are, that there's a greater good that can be experienced not only for us, but for humanity as a whole. And as we begin to incorporate that in our personal life, that understanding, that we can demonstrate it, manifest it out in our day-to-day life where other people begin to experience it. So I invite you to join with me on Sunday at the Spiritual Awareness Center, where we meet in Fresno at 1470 North Van Ness at the Fresno Soap Company Theater, or I invite you to go to one of the centers near you. You can look up Unity Churches, Christ Universal Temples, Religious Science, Centers for Spiritual Living, Divine Science, and there is a website you can go to. It's called findacenter.com, and they have a fairly up-to-date resource for you to go to. Sometimes it's not too up-to-date, but you can still find something that's close enough to you that you can make contact with. I encourage you to do this, even if you hold a different faith. Take time to invest in yourself, and know that, as you invest in yourself, you're investing into the prime gift that the divine intelligence gave to you in your life experience. Doesn't get any better than that. I'm glad you joined us for today. We'll see you next time. Remember, as you go through your week, that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is there. All is well. Have a great week. I'll see you when we come back. Thanks.
CentralValleyTalk.com